Good morning. Hi, I'm Mary Bayless, and welcome to Healing Second Opinion. I think you will really enjoy the wonderful thing we're going to make today. I think last time I mentioned we made pancakes, and they were fantastic. And thank you, Walt, for writing in and giving us your ideas. You used blueberries. I used, let's see, my demo was chopped apples and blackberries. And the pancakes are incredible. And I hope you try that recipe. It's very easy, very fast. You can cook them really fast, and they are so filling. You can use them any time of the day or night, and they're wonderful if you love to go hiking or backpacking because you can take them with you, and you can pull them out of the freezer frozen and just fold them up, take them with you, and when you're ready to eat, just take a bite or two, and it really keeps your energy level up. So I think you'll really like it. I promised you this time that we would be making something that I'm so excited about. It is banana nut bread. And this is a wonderful thing to do with all your bananas. And if your bananas do what my bananas do, they last not quite long enough to eat the whole thing. And we buy a lot of bananas down here. The bananas here in Ecuador are fantastic. And they're so good to eat just plain. But in banana nut bread, I have just discovered banana nut bread. I've been making banana nut bread my whole entire life, and doing it the vegan way. I don't know. I think that's the magic thing because when I made it the usual way with oil and eggs and things like that, it just didn't taste right. Um, I just didn't like the flavor. I really didn't like bananas. But I don't know, I've just discovered bananas. So if you have discovered bananas already and there's one of your favorite things to eat, you will love this recipe. And if you are like I was and didn't think you even liked bananas and didn't want to try anything that had bananas in it, especially cooked bananas, then you're going to be really surprised and so excited to find this recipe. Um, we are a vegan cook channel, and we have started our channel. Uh, my purpose was I had cancer at the beginning of the year, last year in 2018. I had an operation, and I went through the usual protocols, but decided after doing a ton of research with some incredible doctors um, that we have discussed at length from time to time on our channel. But I will be sure to give you those doctors again if you would like to know who you can go to look at research that is scientifically based, that is just overwhelming. Okay, the fact that really impressed me was that it's so important to eliminate oil and milk, of dairy, I should say, and eggs. And you think, okay, if I eliminate those things, what in the world can I fix? I can't tell you how many sites I've seen on, and you probably have too, on the internet that just go on and on and on about, well, how can I make this? I'm so used to using butter. It's not going to taste as good. But you know what? This may seem really hard to believe, and you may not believe me right now, but when you try these recipes, you will be so amazed that butter and sugar, well, I use a little sugar too and salt, so there is hope. You can keep some of the good things, right? But if you eliminate um, butter and most dairy products and oil from your cooking, you can come up with the healthiest food that you could feel so good about serving to your friends and your family. no matter what their age is. And I know that people who didn't even think they could even possibly eat any of this stuff were so shocked at the amount of recipes you can come up with that are so exciting and so delicious that you won't miss anything that you ever thought you would. Now, I was a total cheeseaholic. I loved cheese. Cheese was the greatest thing in my life. I put cheese on everything. Now, I make a lot of Tex-Mex food, and you know, if you've ever had a chalupa or a taco, you know there's always cheese in there, and you think, how in the world could I have something like that and not have cheese? Well, I can tell you how, because I will make some Tex-Mex for you next time, and I promise you, you will not miss cheese. You will have no idea was there supposed to be something else in this dish? Oh, cheese! But no, you won't miss it at all. This is unbelievably fantastic cooking, and it just makes it really, really fun to come up with creative ideas for things that you thought could only be made one way. Now, if you're new to this channel, you may not, you have no idea that I am quite an untraditional cook. I love to create recipes, and I don't follow the rigid rules of cooking in terms of measuring and things like that. Like, for instance, I had a measuring cup before that I had to leave at my other apartment, but in this apartment I have this measuring cup, and it has no numbers on it. But trust me, I pretend that this is 1 cup. So everything is based around my 1 cup. Now you can have a giant cup, or you can have a cup like this. And this is about 8 ounces. It's pretty close to 8 ounces because I measured it with some other cups I had, and they kind of overflowed with the water I poured in to see if they were the same level as this. Now, I don't know what I have against total measuring cups, but I think that a lot of times people are very constricted in being able to cook because they're afraid they have to do it exactly like they do it on the cooking channels, where everything is totally precise, and it makes you afraid that if you try anything different, it won't work, or somehow it's going to be messed up. But I want you to join me if you want to. Give it a try and try letting yourself relax into this whole process, because cooking is one of the more creative things that you can do, and it's the most satisfying thing you can do, I think, because everybody needs to eat, right? So we're going to try to make it really, really easy for you and really fun, so that this journey will be an exciting one for you. And you can, if you have any health issues at all, there are many, many things that can be cured or prevented by eating this way. So what I'm doing is, instead of taking medication, I am using food as medicine. So this food is my medicine, and I'm sharing it with you in case you have any sort of situation like this or know somebody who is, that they can have help to know that there are ways to do things the natural way, that you don't have to take a ton of medications and things like that. If you can be free to be creative and come up with things that you can eat and enjoy that will not only heal your spirit and your creative juices, but it will also heal your body. So thank you so much for joining us. I didn't mean to talk so long. So let's get started on our banana nut bread. I just made one this morning, so it's all ready to cut, and we'll taste it in a second. But I'll show you how easy and fast it is to make. And remember, even if you don't like bananas, it's worth trying, because it's become one of my favorite things, and I never thought it would ever happen. Okay, so we're starting out. You say, what do you do when you don't have milk? Well, there's a lot of things you can do. You can use plant-based milk, and this plant-based milk is almonds. So all I did is grind some almonds up in a blender, add water, blend that up, and then I have almond milk. Now, if you don't want to add additional fats to your system, and you would like something less than almonds, or maybe you don't even like the almond flavor. Well, it doesn't really taste like almonds, but you may not be, some people are allergic to almonds. So what you can do is you can use oats, and you can grind up oats to a flour, add water, and you have oat flour water, oat flour milk, I should say, and it's perfectly good. Besides, when you are cooking with it, you don't really taste the flavor of whatever the milk is you put in there anyway, so don't worry about it. Let's see, you can also use soy. A lot of people like soy. I use soy sometimes too. In fact, I use tofu in a lot of things. But anyway, today we're using almond milk. So what we did is we put 3/4 of a cup of almond milk in this bowl. And then I'm going to add lime. Here in Ecuador, lemons are not so delicious. And it doesn't matter because you're not going to taste the flavor of lemon or lime. You might think if you're not used to using limes, except maybe in a margarita, you may think that limes really have a distinctive flavor. Well, they do have a distinctive flavor in margaritas, but they don't have a distinctive flavor when you're cooking. So I use a tablespoon of lime juice and just squeeze it into the 3/4 of a cup of almond milk. And now I also have a tablespoon, this is hard to do because it's linaza here, which is flaxseed meal. And you use a tablespoon of flaxseed meal and a tablespoon of water and stir it up, and it sits in it's in sort of a binder. So you think about eggs, you're missing eggs. Well, this is kind of a binder, and trust me, this is crazy, isn't it, to think that usually you have to use a couple of eggs as a binder, but in this you use a tablespoon of flaxseed meal, and it does the same thing. So it makes it really easy, and we do not have a lot of things here that we have in the States, but there's all kinds of substitutes. So we have baking powder. You're supposed to use, let's see, for this recipe, I came up with a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda. But we don't have baking soda here, so you may not know that baking soda is also in baking powder. So you don't have to use baking soda. You can use 2 teaspoons. I use heaping teaspoons just to err on the side of goodness because it helps the bread rise. Since I'm not being too scientific, it's okay to go a little overboard and use a little heaping teaspoon. It doesn't help, it doesn't hurt at all. So I'm using 2 teaspoons, heaping teaspoons of baking powder, and I'll pour that in the bowl with a little, you don't have to measure this, but if you want to measure it, a teaspoon of vanilla. So I'm pouring vanilla in. Now, bananas. We had bananas that were sitting out that were perfectly good. You know, they were starting to get a little dark around the edges. Don't use nice yellow bananas that you would eat. Not the right ones. They end up tasting a little funky. So I'll show you what I'm doing. I'm just, in my blender, that was 1 banana, 2 bananas. I put these in the freezer and I just thawed them out. And now I'm just adding this. So they're a little limp and icky looking, but don't worry about it. You can use fresh bananas. That's what I usually use, but I had so many bananas and I've been making so much banana bread that I had these sitting out. And it says, I came up with a cup. But you know what? I'm putting in 1, 2, 3, 4 bananas. You can use 3 bananas if you want. So I'm using these. Put those in the blender. Now also, we have natural cane sugar here. Now you can use a mixture of cane sugar and also you can use dates. I usually use dates, but we went to the market last time and they didn't have dates. So I'm using just total natural sugar. And this is, and if you don't have cane sugar available, don't spend your whole day running around looking for cane sugar. Just get some brown sugar, and you can get dark brown or light brown, whichever your flavor, whichever your taste likes. Either one will work. And so in this, I'm finding that I don't use a ton of sugar. I'm using about 3/4 of a cup of cane sugar, and pour that in the blender. Preheat your oven, by the way. If you're in the States, let's see what, oh yeah, 350 degrees. Set your oven at 350 degrees if you're in the States. Here, it's about 190 degrees centigrade. Now, I'm not a mathematician, so it is a little challenging sometimes to me. Okay, so let's see. Next, we're going to put in the bowl. We're going to add some salt. So add about a half teaspoon of salt. We're going to use a half a cup of oats. So these are oats like you would get in oatmeal, like Quaker oats. We have all kinds of oats here, but this is half a cup of oats, approximately, right? So don't worry about exact measurements, but the oats really give the whole bread a lighter texture. That was a really neat discovery that I made. The texture just totally changes. It's just amazing. Now, see, I'm not like a regular cooking show because we don't have everything all perfectly out here, just ready to pour in at the slightest need. So this is more like you cook at home, right? When you're hunting and pecking, looking for all the right ingredients. So I'm using a half a cup, approximately, of whole wheat flour. Now you can use more whole wheat flour if you want, but I'm using the white flour. I'm using 1 cup of the white flour. I just experimented with different things, and you can do that on your own too and see what you come up with. But I'm using a whole cup of white flour. Just pour that in. Then we're going to add our flaxseed meal and water. Put that in. And now we're going to go to the blender and just grind these bananas up with the brown sugar. That's all it takes. Just a second. So now we're pouring the banana in. Now if you don't want a whole lot of banana flavor, you can use like 2 or 3 bananas. Just experiment a little bit. and see what you like. Now here, remember we have the almond milk and the lime juice. Now this is all measured out. However, remember measurements change. So stir this together in here with the flour and stuff and add a little bit of the milk at a time. Because you're going to want, let's see, more like a thicker dough. You know, you don't want a watery cake dough. You want a thicker dough because this is going to make a bread. So we stir this up and see how we're doing here. Yep, that's pretty good. You still want kind of a moist bread, so yeah, I think this is going to be good. See how it's kind of, it's a thick. You want it like that. That is perfect. Just make sure it's all stirred together. Okay, and let me check the recipe real fast because you know what we left out? My favorite part, walnuts. Now you don't have to put walnuts in here. If you're allergic to walnuts, please don't put walnuts in. And you don't need nuts in it at all. But I love walnuts. And you could use almonds. Almonds would be good in here too. Or coconut, or blueberries. Ooh, wouldn't that be good? Could you imagine blueberries mixed with bananas? Oh, that would be delicious. We don't have blueberries down here either. We have something that's kind of like blueberries, but you have to use your imagination to think it's anywhere related to blueberries. Because they're kind of bitter, sour kind of flavor, but they're fun. And I discovered these wonderful little dishes. They're all limpy. And you can find frames to put these in, and then bake them in the oven. But what works really, really great too is you can just get one of these little guys and a coffee mug, a cookie sheet, and you can put it on the cookie sheet, and it works really great. And the neat thing about this too is that when you bake things, you don't have to put any parchment paper in. Now down here, parchment paper is like one of the rarest things on the planet. Paper is at a premium here for some reason, and nobody seems to understand why. But the napkins are about like this big. So finding parchment paper would be an impossible situation. So you're just going to use this plain, no oil, nothing in here, just plain. And we're going to put the bread in here, put the dough in. Just scoop it in. And you know, one of the neat things about cooking this way too is if you're one of those people who loves to taste the batter, you don't have anything to worry about because there's nothing in the batter that you can't eat. Everything is totally edible because there's no raw eggs or anything in there to bug you. It's just pretty cool. I do that with cookies. I could eat a whole bowl full of cookies that haven't been cooked yet just from cookie dough. So here is our banana nut bread. So I put it on the cookie sheet. We put it in the oven. It's already preheated. And I put it on the top rack. So this cooks undisturbed. It almost always turns out absolutely perfectly. It takes about 1 hour, 60 minutes, and then it's done. So here is a bread I made earlier. And what we're going to do is, oh, I'm going to show you. This is some bread I made, oh, a couple of weeks ago. And I sliced it up and then froze it. I put it in a bag and froze it, so it's frozen in slices. So when you need a quick snack or you want breakfast in the morning and you don't want to make it, you just put it in the microwave or you just set it out, and you can reheat it in a skillet or a panini maker, and it's ready to go. And it tastes just as good as the day you made it. Now, you know how some things when you put it in the freezer is like, tastes like freezer food? Well, this doesn't taste that way. It is really, really good. So here is our new freshly baked banana nut bread. And I will show you what happens when you get it out of the pan. It comes out so easily. Oh, you don't have to wrestle with it. And it doesn't, you don't have to scrape pans to death. When you use the metal pans, everything sticks to the metal pans, right? So there you go. There's our fresh baked banana nut bread. And it looks pretty and it tastes amazing. So let's get a little piece real fast here while we still have time. And I'll just cut a little piece off the end. Wrong knife. But anyway, I'll cut a little piece off the end. And let's see, I'll get a little. Oh, I can't wait for you to try this. Please let me know what you think, because I'm excited for you to try it too. And I want you to share my excitement in the banana nut bread. So here's to you. Happy cooking. I hope you enjoyed the program today. And please leave a message and also subscribe. Would love to have you join in this wonderful journey to health and happiness. See you next time. Bye-bye. Love you.